is going to be, they call the Ostrich Herl Mayfly. Put one in the vice play here so you can have a look at what he looks like. This is a cool looking fly. This is from, okay, a lot of guys go, well, there's not a lot of mayflies out there. Yes, there is. Depends where you go. See that?
Can you rotate it?
You want me to rotate it? There you go. What's that one?
Good.
You good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, this fly, unbelievable. I'm in 100-mile house area in BC. And I'm using this on, I'm watching these guys constantly catching the fish. And okay, I gotta ask this guy what he's using. I'm using chronomids and everything else. I'm not getting any hits today. This guy goes, oh, I use this mayfly. Yeah, I'll have a look at it. Actually, it's an old pattern from a friend of mine. They used to call it the owl fly. I said, why would they call it the owl? He said, well, he had an old owl. You can't be shooting owls. They don't allow that today. You can't have that in your arsenal. Don't be doing that. But he had an old owl, and he had this cream color like this. And he says it works amazing. And the only thing he could match up with it was Grey Ostrich Herl. And I says, well, I got some of that. So I'm tying some of these. So now we're going to tie you the Grey Ostrich Herl Mayfly. Again, same hook. Or we can go with, let's see what else we got here for hooks. Oh, we got a mustad. This is really good for the older fellows that like a wide eye. This is a 3906B. They have a bigger eye on them to tie your leader through, okay? And it works really good. I really like them because the 3906B has a 2X long, but it's also a 3X shank. Like that's a heavy shank. And, you know, you get some of these bigger fish on here, they're not bending that hook over on you. So we'll tie it on this one, maybe. And that's the mustad. I also use, again, the Daiichi 1710. This one here is a size, they say that was size 10. Size 10. Okay. So now I'm going to put this one in the vise. Okay. So the reason why I keep a little bit back on the barb area is because I want to pinch it down. You need good pliers. These are these self-locking electrical pliers. See how they open up? But I've had these for years, but boy, I'll tell you, they work really good for pinching barbs down. So you got to have a good pair of pliers, pinch a barb down. And what I'll do is, while I'm telling you that, I'll put this one in so everybody can have a closer look at it. Right? And I'll pass that around for everybody to look at while I'm tying this next one up. I gotta get my thread ready here for that fly, so that's why I pass that fly around for you to look at. That's that hair straight back down till now. I said before, the one thing you gotta learn to do is if you're gonna use monofilament, you can buy the monofilament made already for pre-eyes that you can get from Fishing Hole or whoever you're shopping with. They do make it today, a lot of these places. But what I like is Vivas thread. I really like this Vivas. And if you can see that.
Yeah.
That way.
That's good.
Good?
Yeah. 70.
All right. Yeah. And
like about the Vivas.
I really like it for tying. It's a stronger thread.
Yeah.
And it costs a little more, but I'll tell you what, it's worth it, you know. Because as a beginner, you don't want to be breaking. And believe me, when you're a beginner, you hit the barb or you hit the point of the hook and you're breaking off your thread. And even as a pro, you know what I'm saying, I'm pro. But see how I got that through there? Yeah, slick. Anyway. So now we're ready to tie. So now we're gonna go over and across, we're gonna lash that over top of itself. That's called just tying it onto the hook. Again, I'm gonna make a full body shank with the thread. Why do we do that? To prevent materials from sliding around. You don't want materials on a bare hook, it'll just slide around. And you're gonna ruin a nice fly that you tied, and you're gonna be upset with yourself because it rolled over. Especially when you're doing wing cases and stuff like that. So now we're gonna just trim that tag off. Just fine. And when you get older, you gotta wear the bifocals. Okay. And believe me, it comes faster than you think. So I make a little bump there again. Why? Because it just gives you enough pressure to spread that tail open for you. So now what we're using is this pheasant rump natural. Okay. And we're gonna use that for the tail. There. We're also gonna use it for going midsection of this rump. Pull out one feather. And then rip the fluff off it. Yeah. Just like that. Grab it, hold on. The fluff out of it. Now, this is for the tail. Take one section of it, pull it down, holding on to it. And I'm gonna take the other half. Yeah. I'm gonna strip that side. That's all you got left. That's just. So now I'm gonna take both of those. I'm gonna match that up. See that? That's your tail. Now we're gonna place, remember, length of the shank, no longer than the length of the shank. That's pretty short, isn't it? You don't want it bigger than that. Because then you don't have proportions. And proportions are the biggest thing you got to deal with when you're tying. Is portions of the fly will make the fly, or cause you to look twice at it and say, why does it look like what Rod tied? Well, this Rod's been doing it for a while, and you got to get used to that. Even Rod messes up, especially when his wife's talking, because you want to listen to what she said. Okay, it's so serious. So now we've got that tied in. We're gonna trim that fluff off. Again, get it tied in. And see how I come around that hook? See how that hook is right there? That point? You hit that with the thread and you're gonna break your thread. So you come around and back over. Round, back over. Don't get carried away with your wraps because you don't want to build the body up too much on this fly. You gotta solve your thing. You gotta tie that in. So now we're gonna tie, it's a full wing case fly. So what am I gonna use? I'm gonna use some pheasant tail, and that's olive gold. That's what they call this. Some of it's got glue on it. Okay, so we're gonna use this side. So we're gonna take about, oh, I'd say, I'm not counting, but around 8 or 10 strands. Gonna trim it off there at the very butt section of the pheasant, like that. And then we're gonna take it and tie it in by the tip. So now we're gonna pinch technique again, right? That's the pinch technique. Here we go. Up, over, pinch. Don't forget to pinch. See how I'm pinching it? Pinching it. Now I'm gonna bring the thread around and back up. What does that do? It brings the material right on top of the shank. See that? That's one pinch. And look at how I got material already hooked in. Now I can lash it in. And always go right back. And you got to move your material a bit. Watch this. See that? Now I'm gonna lash that in. Yeah, now we trim off those butt sections a little bit, just a little, so they're not unruly to you later. Good enough. One wants to stay okay, fine. There. So now I need some gold wire for this again. Again, we're gonna use that 0.2 gold wire on Simplify or the UTC in a medium. You'll get to know the names of your materials because, like everything else, you start buying this stuff, you better start learning what you're buying and what you're paying for, because today's world, prices have gone up on this stuff quite a bit. So we got ourselves about an 8-inch piece of wire there, and we're gonna tie that in for a rib. This is the rib tying in. See, I'm right back at the tie-in section of the fly again. Notice how I don't bring all my material from the front to the back. Tie it in from the back and I move forward. And that way I can make sure it's lashed in properly. Don't get too close to that head. It's one thing beginners do. They get close to that eye and they pack the eye up. You don't want to do that with any of your flies, or else you'll have the problem of going ahead and dealing with the materials in a way you don't want. Now, so we got that tied in. Now we're going to tie in. So look at that. We got the wire tied in. We got the full wing case coming across. That's going to go right across. Okay. And now we're going to use the body. And what we were going to use for the body, we said the ostrich, right? So here's the ostrich. I'm going to take 3 strands of that ostrich, the butt section of this. And we're going to just trim that out of the butt. Right there. We're going to take it by the tips, not by the butts, by the tips. Why? Because it's a little narrower at the tip section, a little finer. So it gives you a nice consistency of your body. So now we're going to pinch that in and you just roll it in. See that? Now I can move it up. Right where I want it to be. I'm going to lash at it. So you want to be really gentle with this now, because ostrich is very, very sensitive for a fiber and a material. You get used to it. Trust me, once you break off a few times, the frustration comes in. Don't get frustrated. Try to enjoy yourself, because what thing about the art of fly tying is it helps you get rid of all the problems in the world. You forget about everything. Right? That's why I tie. I forget about everything else around me. And it just brings you down. Right? Back to normal. Normal. Okay. So we're going to take tie in the body. Here we go. A little bit of a wrap. Okay. See that? A little bit of a twist. Take those hackle pliers that are really heavy duty and grab it. There's some other type of hackle pliers. There's all kinds out there. So whatever you feel comfortable with. I like mine because they spin in my finger here as I'm going around. See how I'm going to make that body? Look at that. And you're going to come forward right beside the other one. As you pull it forward, you can pull it back a bit with the material. See how I do that? I just comb it a bit. You don't have to get too carried away. Don't push it around. It'll land itself on that shank. See that? It's coming along nicely. Right, what I want. See that? See how that stands out? That's the herl. That's what they call it, ostrich herl. This really gives you a really nice mayfly. A real nice one. All right, pretty. And then we'll tie that off. 2 in the back, 2 in the front. Now you're tied in. Now you can trim it. If you don't do that, that stuff will walk on you. You don't want it to do that at that point. So you got a nice consistency to your body. Now you're going to take this material that I tied in, which is the pheasant, I'm gonna bring it over and across, okay? What are we doing there? Fold back mayfly nymph. So it's got a fold back on. So we're gonna just tie that in the front and then the back and the front, right? I'm not moving the thread up. I'm not moving it down over the body. I'm there. 2/3 up the fly shank. And you got enough room to tie in your thorax and tie the head off, okay? And you want to do that, making sure that you got that. So now we got to bring this. What I do for the beginners, I'm not going to keep this in here. This is a pro style of making yourself a wing case. For the beginners, I'm going to trim that off. Why? Because it's out of your way. All right, so we're going to trim that off. Okay, we'll get back to this. I'm going to show you a trick that I do just to keep it more consistent. Tie in that butt section like that. Now, I don't have that my way while I'm tying my ribbon. Now, I'm going opposite. Here's opposite. I've been tying all this way consistently, going in that direction, okay? Now I'm gonna go reverse wrap, they call it. So whatever you did with your wrap, if you're a right-hander, you're going the other. I'm a lefty, so I'm going this way with reverse wrap. And see the consistency? I make that about a 1/8 of an inch. And I now count how many ribs. It just makes it look good. And I stop there right where I tied in the wing case. Tying in the wire now, 2 in the front or behind, 2 in the front. Again, 2 behind and 2 in the front. Now, take that wire and walk that out of your way. Boom. Done. Now, we're going to make sure that's wrapped in there real good. All right. We don't want to be so far ahead that their thread is showing itself in the ribbing. We're not covering it up, okay? Now we got to tie in that wing case to make a consistency. So now we're going to take the tips of that and we're going to tie it back in. Some guys go, what for? Well, as a beginner, believe me, it saves the frustration. Hold that ahead a bit. Boom. Came out on me. See how that worked? Stop. Do it again. That wrap is a loose wrap. Now I'm pulling it, see? Now I'm going to tie it in this time. Right over top. Right over top of where you tied off. Right there, okay? There, nice. Okay, so you leave that now. And we're going to tie the ostrich herl back in to make the body. Thorax of the fly. Yeah, got too many there. You only need, let's go with 2. Okay, 2, all right? So I'm gonna tie that in by the tips again. No, I'm not, we're gonna make it heavier. Let's tie it in by the butts. This time I'm gonna use the butt section. So we gotta tie the, see that squirrely stuff? Trim that up. It just gets in your thread and messes it up. So then we're gonna take it by the butt section this time and tie it in with those 2. Around, back up. See how much room I give for that shank of the material to sit in there? We don't care. We can pull that ahead or pull it back if we like. I'm just gonna pull it back a bit, tie it in. Notice how I don't get close to that eye. I don't want it that close to the eye. I want consistency. So I want to stay away from the eye. At least one eye of the hook back. All right. You want at least that. Now we're going to take that just by hand. We're going to make that thorax. There you go. Look at that. Remember how we tied that back in, that wing case? Guess what happened? You made it a little bit bigger. And that's the thing about the mayfly. They're coming out of the water and they're expanding themselves, make themselves look big. See how I move my fingers around there? Okay, now I'm going to tie that off. Round, back down. Right before the eye. Don't get too carried away. Oh, caught that one just in time. See, I broke that off by hand. Okay, get it in there. Wrap it in. Okay, there we go. Take that one off. Oh, you don't wanna bring it off, so you gotta trim it. Okay, here we go. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Now, the only other thing we need here is what? Before we set the wing case down. Before you set the wing case down, you gotta make yourself some legs. So we're gonna take this rump. And we're gonna get some smaller feathers down here. Of the rump section here. Again, stripping the herl. All this fluff you can use on other flies, by the way. I use another bag for it, is what I do. I just strip it off. But tonight I'm just throwing it in the material sack so I can dig it out later if I like. See that? See those little feathers? It's all under fur. All the under fur of a pheasant. So it keeps them warm. Those cold winter nights. So now we're gonna make ourselves some legs. How are we gonna do that? We're gonna take this fly. I'm gonna comb it back with the fingers. See that? Just a little bit. Comb that back a little bit. And you're gonna take that. See that little V there? We're gonna cut that off. And what you're gonna do, got a little too much fluff there. All right. Look at that. You got yourself a natural wing case. Okay. Now we're gonna present that right on top of the fly. And before I do that, just before I do that, I'm gonna take my scissors very gently now. You're gonna come right on top and see the little bit of fluff on there. Trim that off on the top. Don't get carried away. You don't want to mess up now. Okay, here we go. We're gonna tie in those legs that we like so much. Okay, look at that. See how you get ambidextrous with your hands and your fingers. You get used to it. Now I'm just gonna, what am I doing? I'm gonna do a full wrap around, soft wrap. Two of them, 1, 2. Now I can adjust the wing. By pulling on it. See that? See that? Look at that. Whoa, nice. Okay. Let's leave her there. Tie that in. Remember, do not pack the head up. Okay. So you got that tied in. Now we got to leave enough room to bring that wing case over. So we're going to trim that off now. We're ready to go. Boom. We're out of there. Now we're going to bring the wing case over. Look at that. Ready. All right. Again. Up, over, soft wrap. And that ties your wing casing. Nice and solid. See how I let go of the butt? Don't pull on it. Don't yank on it. Don't move it. Don't cut the thread at this point. You don't want to do that. Okay. So we're going to bring it around a couple of times. And now as I pull down, I'm going to pull up on the wing case. See that? Before I go ahead and tie it off. Make sure you're very tight with your wraps because you're near the head. So we got to get all this pulled back and we're going to tie in a couple of wraps in front. Remember, before we cut it, because there's a little bit of material in that wing case, right? So you want to make sure it's tied in nice and tight. That looks pretty good. So we can trim that off. Ready to go. Boom. Sharp scissors. 40 years. But I don't use them for cutting wire. I use another pair for cutting wire, right? Bigger head. Okay, you want that. For cutting wire and bigger materials. This is only for fine trim. Okay. So you look for scissors like that and look at how I can handle those. I can have them in my hand. I don't even have to take them out of my hand, right? Nice thing about tying back then is they give you the wide open loops. And that makes a difference in your fly tying. But the caddy is really nice. See this caddy down here? You can't see it on the screen, but it's a tool caddy, that's what they call that. All right. And I can put my bodkins in there and stuff, and it's ready to go. So now we're going to finish off the head by wrapping right over that material we just cut off. And I'm making the head. Why? Because you want a head on your fly. Really tight. Very, very tight. All right, now we're ready to tie off. Again, pulling the thread down, the bodkin, 90 degrees to the hook. put that side of the material right into the hook keeper or your material keeper. And then I'm just gonna bring this up and over and hook that right over 90 degrees. See that? It's loose. Hooking it over. 1, 2, 3. Good enough. That's the manual way. You can use your whip finisher. Learn how to use a whip finisher. A lot of you won't get this idea and you'll be frustrated with it. Me, I'm old school. I do that. And it's tight. I can cut that right to the edge of the thread. Look at that. Boom. You're done. All you gotta add is the head cement. That's another mayfly for the water. Look at the consistency. See your legs, they're consistent with the length of the shank. Remember this length of the shank? And what else did I do here that I thought some of you might catch? Just look at that fly. See the little blue vein in the material of that rump feather? We talked about what fish colors can see. And the fish can see that blue. Remember, blue is one of their favorite colors, and purple.